In a world that had just emerged from the horrors of World War II, the United States held the most powerful and secret weapon, the atomic bomb. But in 1949, Americans were shocked by unexpected news. The Soviet Union had detonated its first atomic bomb. How was that possible? It should have taken years for them to catch up. The question spread everywhere. Who leaked the secrets? And here begins the story of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. Julius, a poor Jewish electrical engineer from New York, was a bright and ambitious young man. In his youth, he joined the American Communist Party, believing it could bring justice to the poor. At a political meeting, he met David Greenglass, a passionate singer and activist. They quickly fell in love, never imagining that their romance would one day become one of the most famous spy cases of the 20th century. As the Cold War began, the Soviet Union desperately sought any way to obtain America's atomic secrets. Julius, thanks to his work and connections, became an ideal recruit. With help from Ethel's relatives, he began building a small spy ring. The most crucial member was Ethel's own brother, David Greenglass, who worked as a technician at the Los Alamos laboratory, where the atomic bomb was being developed. Through him, sketches and technical notes made their way to Moscow, delivered by Julius. But in 1950, the web began to unravel. The FBI was at the height of its anti-communist crusade. David Greenglass was arrested, and to save himself, he betrayed his sister and her husband. He confessed to passing information to Julius, and went even further, claiming that Ethel had typed up the notes herself. With this shaky testimony, the most dramatic espionage trial in American history began. In 1951, the courtroom was packed with reporters and spectators. Julius and Ethel denied all charges. Their defense lawyers argued that the case was political, that the evidence was weak. But the atmosphere was thick with fear of the Soviets and nuclear paranoia. In the end, the verdict was death. Never before had American civilians been sentenced to death for espionage in peacetime. Even the judge declared that their crime had helped lead to the Korean War and the deaths of thousands of soldiers. It was clear that the punishment was as much a political message as it was a legal sentence. On June 19, 1953, the execution was carried out at Sing Sing prison. Julius was strapped to the electric chair first. One shock, and he was gone. Then came Ethel, the 37-year-old mother of two. It took several jolts before her heart finally stopped. Even the guards were shaken by the sight. The next day, her execution photo spread across newspapers, turning her into a symbol of controversy and division. But the story didn't end there. Decades later, secret documents from the Venona project confirmed that Julius had indeed been part of a Soviet spy ring. But Ethel's role remained unclear. In fact, her brother David admitted before his death that he had lied, that Ethel had never typed a single note, and that he had sacrificed her to save himself and his wife. Today, more than 70 years later, the Rosenberg case remains one of America's most debated trials. Were they truly traitors who deserved death, or were they victims of a ruthless Cold War executed as scapegoats in an age of fear? Their two sons, left orphaned after the execution, were adopted by another family. They grew up to become activists, still fighting to clear their mother's name, believing she was unjustly put to death. The Rosenberg case was never just a story about espionage. It was a story about nuclear terror, about politics clouding justice, and about how the truth itself can be lost. Burned away in the same chair where Julius and Ethel Rosenberg met their fate.